Yeah, shalom Israel, as usual, we're going to give all praises to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushai, Waha, Rakah, Kadash. Yeah, double honors to the elders and apostles in Israel, the ruler, teacher, to the Akims on the highways and byways, and those pushing videos in truth and sincerity, to the brothers and sisters in the truth. Now we know that we're coming near that time, and you know, it's for us to work on our election, and the scripture says, you know, making your calling an election sure. That's what we're going to try and touch on today. I'm trying to encourage brothers and sisters through the word to work on their calling.
First Peter, yeah?
Yeah. No, it's the first one.
Second Peter, wasn't it? First Peter's 1, yeah. Second Peter's 1, chapter 1, verse 1.
Verse 10.
Verse 10. Wherefore, the rather, brethren, give diligence to make your calling and election sure.
It says, give diligence to make your calling and election sure. Like when you read the scriptures in Psalms, it tells you that Esau is very diligent in how he seeks out his weakness to try and keep us in a lower state. So like manner when it comes to us trying to get to the kingdom, like nothing, as well will let you know, nothing is given, nothing that you want that's good comes easy. Yeah? We had that first estate, and to get back there, we didn't have to work for it, but the scripture says give diligence.
What's that precept about? Paul talking about like an athlete.
Yes, that's a race. Yeah, athlete.
As he, you know, in his sport and then whatever he's done, right, discipline. You know, he has a certain predisposition, right? So basically, a lot of the fighters, the real fighters, on the MMA fighters, they do sometimes they do seat retention, or they go train, give them more power, early, and they have a routine, they have like a diet that they eat. You know what I'm saying? Like, because what happened, he gave them more strength, right? In that training, in that focus, and he made them strong mentally as they fight. That's right. And Paul was just using the analogy to show us how we should behave and, you know, move in this truth. We can't move anyhow. And that's why I was watching the video that you gave us, you sent us, the process of salvation, you know, which is point A to point B. When you come in the truth, honestly, you're like a young, you don't understand what's going on, you come, you're all zealous. You know what I'm saying? Like, you love saying you want to do the truth, but you don't know what it takes actually to really be, you know, pleasing to the side. Then you're starting to learn how do I move to be really gets along that path. So that's what we right now, you know, should be doing as a camp and as brother. Obviously we got brothers that are following us, though we don't know it. But these brothers as well, these sisters, we're able to know how do I get myself prepared, because we're not in any any normal time. No. We in the prelude of them coming forward. We in the prelude of society breaking down, as they say. So we need that spiritual power, because we cannot do it on our own. That's right. We cannot do it on our own. That's right. Alright, so that's what we're going to learn. And through the Most High, we'll be able to get there. Because our strength is us, we're going to fail. Us, we're going to fail. Remember the guy Peter, I was thinking about that lesson the day before yesterday at work. Why did Peter fail? Why did people, I said fail meaning like, why did he, not even that. When Yahushua got taken, he renounced Yahushua. But when Yahushua through the Spirit was telling him, go, because you know Peter, he was a fleshy guy. When I say fleshy, I mean that he was a carnal guy. He was like a nigger, like he was a ghetto, he was a fisherman. He was so basic. He relied on his basic sense and things like that. When Yahushua came saying, I'll make you a fisher of men. So I mean, every time there's a situation, who was the first one to get in the flesh? Peter. That's why Yahushua told Peter, you're going to renounce me 3 times. And what did he do? the Most High do what he did.
Can I just add to what he said? Also, what happened was when Yahweh Shai says something, just like his father Yahweh, when they say something, it doesn't come out void. So that was also a prophecy. It had to happen, right? It had to be.
Yeah, you got a precept?
That's right.
Yeah, after that, you do.
1 Corinthians 9, and I'll start at 24. And it reads, Now ye know that they which run the race run all, but one receiveth the prize. So run that ye may.
And this race that we're running is not a sprint.
No.
It's a marathon.
That's right.
Yeah, so in the marathon you go 100 all the way to the end. You pace yourself.
Pace yourself. It's very, because when you start running, you tend to go like, because you can breathe better.
Yeah.
You fight, and after that, it slows you down.
That's right.
A professional, they learn patterns.
That's right.
And how do you learn pattern? You learn pattern in pain. I come back to the boxing and fighting again. The reason why I think it's going to do the training. When they're tired, I say, no, get up. Or even the military. Get up. Come on. Right, because what happens is that condition your mind. So when you go in the battle and you're tired, you're still fighting because your mind is conditioned.
And you see that in the ring as well. That's what I said last time. That when they call the pros in the tower, the guy in the back, he did that, man. You can see that boy, you've had it now, but the mind is conditioned. The mind is
just carry on. So that's the same thing, man. And that's the reason why we talk about fasting. I just want to say that that's the reason why fasting is important. I realized that certain things in my life will go away until why? Because when you don't eat, what happens? You feel certain pain. Bodily, you want to eat, your mind is craving the food, your body is craving the food. And when you discipline that body, what it does is that because your body is disciplined to go through hardship, when the temptation of sin comes, because you're already conditioned to resist, you will resist.
Fasting as well also allows you to be more spiritual. When you look at the scriptures, and you see brothers that fast Ezra to get more knowledge, you have to fast. Yahweh Shai, he fasted and was able to overcome the devil. Moses, the time he was with the Most High,
That's right.
Daniel also fasted to see a vision.
That's right.
fasting allows you to be more spiritual. It allows your body, because remember, you're abstaining from all kinds of foolishness.
Fleshly thing.
And a lot of these things that we go through when it comes to fasting, it's a mighty. Why do I say that? During the day of the cold, I remember in the first one I had, I was not watching, belly rumbling, but as soon as it was over, it's like I went over again. You know what I'm saying? It's like your mind plays into it. Fasting allows you to be more disciplined.
Wakanda, my nigga. Wakanda.
So exactly, fasting, the reason why it's important as well, so fasting, the reason why fasting is important, like I said, it makes you resist against sin. And for the Most High, because more revelation meaning the Most High the world, because when you stop sinning, the Most High come close to you. That's what's happening spiritually. Yeah, you just good, but yeah, that's even for the word. There's something called eternity. Fasting.
Eternity in life.
My brother.
When you
My brother. My brother.
the sleep
My
pattern.
brother. You don't have to learn. See how people need to learn. Hold on to me. I'm going to give you some game before you go to this. Listen, we lost the manners that we royal people. When you go in the royal house, before you talk, there's a protocol to everything. I'm teaching you as a man. As a man. Hold on. As a man, my brother. As a man, you need to be a man. All right? Hold on. Listen. It will help you, man. That's why niggas get murdered all the time, because you don't know how to move in the spirit, in this jungle, man. That's why you don't get put to death. This is a jungle, concrete jungle. All right? Anyway, I was talking about the fasting.
This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 4.
Yeah.
For into a malicious soul, wisdom shall not enter.
That's right, a malicious soul. What does it mean by malicious soul?
Keep your head high.
Malicious soul is when you refuse to actually stop sinning. Because your whole pattern of thinking is using whatever you know to get whatever you want or whatever you need, whether it be evil or whether it be good. You just want to survive. It's like a lot of our brothers and sisters are on survival mode. That's the reason why they lose that right. See, the righteousness is in us. The righteousness is embedded in us, but living in this jungle, the malicious spirit takes over because you have to survive out here.
You have to survive.
And the Most High is showing us
know what you know.
to rely on the
Not
spirit.
what you know, it's who you know.
Because God is a spiritual. He can provide all. Listen, you could be not having money, but the Most High will take care of you, man.
Today, you may not have money. Tomorrow, you may have money.
Oh, let's finish.
Ecclesiastes chapter 5 verse 1. Keep thy foot when thou goest to the house of the Most High.
All right, keep that food when I go in the house of the Most High.
If we have bread and butter, we will survive.
Okay, carry on.
When it says keep thy foot, it means close your mouth in the house of the Most High.
still.
That's what it means.
I can't close my mouth.
Carry on.
I have eyes.
Be more ready to hear
And be more ready to hear.
than to give the sacrifice of fools.
Right.
And to talk nonsense out of your mouth.
So the thing is, you know, I was talking about the manners. Yeah, we lost. See, that's a royal manner. All right, that's a royal.
So how long you think
Knowing when to talk.
Use your ears.
All right, knowing when to
I feel no man.
Yo. There's a big walkway
Listen,
here.
I feel no man.
There's a big walkway. Just use it, yeah? Just use it. Just use it.
Yeah. No, you don't say.
So we're going to have to the Most High thinking.
For they consider not that they do evil.
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. As it is in heaven.
You
Fear no man.
This is a good example of what the brother's reading. It says, keep your foot when you come. Read that again.
Ecclesiastes chapter 5 verse 1. Keep thy foot silent. Keep thy foot
And keep my mouth humble.
Most High.
Now, we're in that place now. We're in that place now. It says keep your foot, because at the end of the day, both sides is a judge. He will look you down if you're out of order. That's right. He will put a sentence on you. Yes, it says keep your foot.
Thy foot, close thy mouth.
Mind your manners, man.
Yeah, 10 foot down. 10 foot down.
It says be more ready to hear. Listening is an art. A lot of our people ain't used to do it.
Than to give the sacrifice of fools.
To keep babbling about food.
But you know what it is? Finish that.
For they consider not that they do evil.
You gotta understand, can someone read hashtag Deuteronomy 28, man. Because, like I said, I always say, you see, when we're out there, you're gonna bring that one right after that. When we're out there, we have to understand, you know, that we in a spiritual battle, man. So we're dealing with demons. So we are.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 28. The Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness.
Hold on one second.
Polite.
This didn't happen, but
If you're not polite, do not approach me. Yeah? If you don't know about manners, do not
This is
approach
the
me.
book of Deuteronomy,
Say thank you.
chapter 28 and verse 28.
That's it.
The Lord shall smite thee with madness
the Lord shall smite our people with madness,
and
man.
blindness and astonishment of heart.
Right, so our people, some of them, they may be functioning like in a daily basis, but they're not functioning spiritually, like they're gone. You got brothers that have spirit on them, man.
That's right.
Spirit just and they do things. So if we're gonna be, you know, if we're gonna be spiritual, let's be spiritual. At this point, it's like he doesn't exist. Because we identify the problem. So what we're gonna do, we're going to focus on what we're talking about until the Most High kicks him out. All right? There's a reason why the Most High bring him.
I claim it in the name of
There's a reason why the
Jesus.
Most High brought him. So basically, the Most High brought him.
claim it. I
Maybe
claim
to
it.
judgment. To test us, to judgment, to mark him. We don't know what the Most High is doing. We don't know who he is through the Spirit. We don't know who he were back in time, and he came back to be one of the most demonic Jake. Came back on the lower level, and he hear the truth, and now he's not happy now. Because he said to my brothers, they're against the truth. Alright, so that's what we're going to do. What's that?
My brother has
Are you done with that?
My brother has starved.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 20, verses 11 and 12. Verse 11.
Brother Israel.
Even a child is known by his doing.
Hold on. We're going to have to move down here. Stop before we...
Let me bring out the scripture.
No, it weren't. No.
You put it on now. So this is the book of Proverbs.
That's the bloody tiptoe to be seen. See my age.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 20, verses 11 and 12. And it reads, even a child is known by his doings, whether his work be pure and whether it be right. Verse 12, the hearing ear and the seeing eye, the Lord Yahweh have made even both of them.
Right, so I think I saw this book. In that case, I believe he got that
That's right.
That's happening. And then, he's going to act the way. That's right. He's showing us that we have to be spiritual in this battle, man.
That's right.
That's what I'm thinking about it. When people started to sell us out, are you going to be fighting or are you going to be using the spiritual power and the wisdom to kind of fight the case? I believe that we have to use our wisdom and spiritual power and the grace, the mercy that's upon us to fight our case. You know what I'm saying? Because they're going to mess with us, man.
That's
on
right.
a different level.
That's
You got
right.
demons that are aggressive. You got demons certain things where they have a way to beguile you before you know you're in the trap. So we're supposed to be, fasting and praying and, what I'm saying, opening our spiritual eyes because this is spiritual warfare,
That's
man.
right.
He's a low-level demon.
That's right.
That's not a demon.
Yeah.
Do you think Esau gonna come like that? No. Esau is coming with strategy.
Like a snake. Like a dragon.
Snake.
That's right.
To get you, man.
That's right.
I talked to Anisha.
I think what's happening today, it's a demonic realm that we in, man. But you see, the Most High is doing on purpose. Bring your wisdom up there.
Deliver me, O Yahweh, from the evil man. Preserve me from the violent man.
That's right.
And you know what? It's asking Yahweh to. This is what we have to realize is going to be deliverance. We're not going to do delivered by our own strength. No, brothers trying to lead on their might, on Esau's weapons that he produces. Yeah, Yahweh has always been the one that's delivered us, man. And that's who's going to deliver us again when you say Yahweh Shai. Yeah?
So 140 verse 1. Deliver me, O Yahweh, from the evil man.
And in this time, if you don't realize yet that it's Yahweh, that's going to be deliverance.
I think Cardi B.
A silent assassin.
He used to jump over a wall out here.
That's
man.
right.
Send it flying now.
That's right.
But he said, deliver me, man. So that means sometimes the battle is spiritual, man.
That's right.
Sometimes the battle is spiritual. You need the Most High, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, to deliver you from what's going on. You got a precept?
Yeah.
Let him finish.
Yeah.
They have sharpened their tongues like a serpent.
They are sharpened the tongue like a, and when they say they are sharpened the tongue like a serpent, in our case, right now they are trying to find new, how do you say that? Law, past law.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they're shopping the sword on YouTube, man.
That's right.
So you see the algorithm is like some sort of like a counter attack term. Every time you speak something, they'll come with a policy and say, oh, you're violation of this, a violation of that. So you see many layers that the demon operates, you know, to kind of mess with us, man, to slow us down, you know, to make us low and make us weak in the spirit. Carry on, my brother.
And this poison is under the lips of luck.
Right. All right, so they're very poisonous, man, with everything. So we're supposed to worry about that. How they're going to come in the media and try to come with some sneaky rumors, some vicious rumors about the children of the Most. Where they're going to push a narrative where our poor people will be like, oh, this, yeah, I know one that will sell you out when the time comes, man. So what do we need right now? We need spiritual power. Spiritual power do manifest in many layers. Nazis can be spiritual power as well, where they come to look for you, they come fight you, for example.
Yeah. So this is the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verses 5 and 6. Verse 5. Trust in the Lord, Yahweh, with all thine heart.
All thine heart, man.
And lean not unto thine own
And
understanding.
lean not unto thine own understanding.
That's what Jake
That's why I
loves to
say,
do,
my
man.
brother, the shouting skills ain't gonna be enough. Okay, you gonna beat someone, but then where does it end? Beat him up, but hey, you have to worry. Get
But
that
Esau
straight,
didn't
you know what I'm
come
saying?
along to you.
Esau ain't coming with no shouting. Hey, Esau got a shouting that are greater than you, you know.
That's a blessing.
Yeah, few of them come against you, you're done out here. But if you got the spiritual power, you'll be able to dribble them.
Move in stealth.
You know what I'm
Like they
saying?
move in stealth. The
Yeah,
spirit is
yeah,
stealth, isn't it? You
yeah.
can't see that.
Yeah, come on.
Verse 6. In all thy ways acknowledge him.
That's the key point. It says in all your ways. So even if you don't understand it, as long as the Most High says do this, that's what you should do, innit?
Being humble,
Yes.
being meek, knowing that, yo,
I don't know.
me
you.
myself, I can't do
That's
nothing.
right. That's right.
Let me move like the most I want me to move. It's what it is. Something is painful because you don't find that stuff that mess with you. You know that maybe you can beat them up. You know that you can fight them up with that. But that's the test. The test is to be meek even when you know that you can beat the problem. The test is not to respond. And at this point, everything is the most high. Not even vengeance.
And even that,
It's mine, saith the Lord.
You know what I mean?
that goes into what we call community as well.
Yeah,
It's not
same thing.
You see that? It's all you trying to work on your election, innit? Work on your spirit. Work on your character.
Hey,
Like,
the
this
meek,
is the test.
the meek shall inherit the earth.
That's right.
So we have to be meek, man. They're gonna mess with us. They're gonna mess with us. I remember when I first came in the truth, I was like in my second phase when I really started to do the truth. I was a bit violent and blah blah blah. That's bull. That's not right.
But that's growth.
You know, yeah,
It's
so
just
when
like
you like
zeal when you first come in.
And you know what? When I started to do the training, it made me more humble. But I understood that actually I'm not all that. I might have heart. I don't have all these skills, bro. You know what I'm saying?
It's not course.
Yeah, so let me continue with it.
Yeah, so read verse 6.
Yeah, let me continue with the scripture. So this is the book of Proverbs, chapter 3 and verse 6. In all thy ways acknowledge him, Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushai.
But in all our ways, you know, acknowledging, man, and that's what we're talking about, like, we have to rely more on Yahweh, man. Right. Actually, that's the test. Rely more on Yahweh. Because the thing that's going to come, there will be spiritual thing. Like, even when the army comes, on the physical level, it's a spiritual thing. Because it's all game on the inside.
And he shall direct thy path.
He shall direct that path, man. I mean, in there's movies where the guy run and somebody tell him go left, and he go left, the army goes right. You know what I'm saying? Or go to this house, or speak to these guys, or don't go there. We have to train our mind. I ain't worried about no demon.
There's one film I saw one time where this guy is talking to some woman through an earpiece. He's saying, yeah, walk to that man with the balloon and stop there. So then they've gone there, then the people that's looking for them, they're looking around, but the balloon is hiding them.
Yeah.
You know, that's spiritual.
That's in born identity.
Yes.
Second or the third version.
I'm a boy, I'm boy. I'm trapped. I don't watch movies. I watch it only when I watch movies like Get Out.
No, I love born
certain
identity.
movies that really
It shows you Esau's
weakness.
Yeah.
There's a one I came to first. What is it?
I never watched that one. That's demonic.
No. First is about, it's about what's coming.
I know.
Now, the last verse was powerful. The last verse shows you exactly what happened.
That one of the last one of them ones that we're talking about, the purge, it was brothers that come and save the day at the end. It was all brothers that come and put the door down with the
Come on, mommy.
You know what I mean? So, that's a spiritual thing. You mean like, at the end of the day, Jake, that's coming with salvation. Them Jake, them spiritual Jakes, that's coming with our side. They Jake, they are brothers. That's what he says in Revelation 19 and 10. I'm a fellow servant. I'm a fellow servant. Don't bow down before me. I'm your fellow servant. I mean, I do the work just like you do the work. You do it on that realm. I do it on the upper realm. The heavens, man, in the heavens. Yeah, so we have to carry on, my brother.
Be not wise in thine own eyes.
Be not wise in our own eyes, man. Think of his precept, man. We shouldn't be wise enough. We should get to the point where everything is spiritual. Even when, my ex mess up with me, money, everything like that. Sometimes I just write it down. I just pull up some of the status to like release the pain or whatever. So I can't do nothing. I don't even, before we just go back and forth. You know, and this woman, when their mouth, man, it's like the sword. That's when you want you to do it, go be murder, my brother. You've been meditating on murder, man. It's serious, bro. And you're thinking about, boy, the police is here, you know, all this shit. I can't do nothing, you know?
And that's why you have to be spiritual, because you tend to do things and in a moment of not thinking, rational. And then once you're done now, you start to think, shit, I shouldn't have done that.
Do you know how many
the wrong way around?
Do you know how many people in jail that the brother probably say that's exactly how they felt after they committed that? Because when you open your mind, the realm of your mind, you open it to demons. There's demons that know, they feel certain vibe. I believe certain things have colors. And as you release in the atmosphere, they're able to check the color and say, yo, he's speaking of murder. Then you think about, yo, jump on him, man. Yeah, jump on him.
We're up against some online courses there. One of the questions was, did you know that when you're angry, it's when you're at your most stupidest?
When you're angry,
That's what the Bible says. When you're angry, sin not.
That's right.
But there's holy anger. Holy anger is a line between
you can be angry.
Say something.
How you use it.
Seeing red.
Seeing red, right? That's right. Red. Right. Yes. And that's why he said the devil is like a roaring lion that was looking for something to devour. So how does it devour? Look how, if you see how the devil predator know how to do it, like they take advantage of the time where you're not focused. And let's say the antelope is drinking some water, and then it's not focused, and they shoot from behind. Before you know it, they're on them.
And this situation there
Same
was
thing.
a good example of that, because he could have got really stupid. You know what I'm saying? He could have got really stupid. So, and that's another thing where it's good to have brothers around you, because you might have, at that moment, quickly lapse out the spirit, and the next brother then to like, really back in, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, we have no choice but to be like that and carry on.
Fear the Lord, Yahweh.
So to fear the Lord is like, when you're angry, so let's say, brother, come on you, or there's a situation that comes, someone mess with you, you're like, look at him like that. You're like, damn, right? And then you're thinking, bro, I can't do anything right now, because if I do anything, I might regret what I do. And then it will be too late, because the consequences are already manifested. They're in place, and then I have to pay for whatever consequences. You know what I mean? So you're gonna have to be very spiritual when you get right.
Being out here in itself is strength building.
Right.
If you're at home just on the computer watching the brothers and that, it doesn't prepare you for stuff that's gonna come.
Yeah, you make my point. I was saying one day that brothers that are over there on computer, computer camping, they're wasting their time because the real life is when you're around brothers. Now, a brother might do something that you don't like, but how will you deal with it? Do you hold grudges or will you apply Matthew 18:15? Well, you see, now you're applying the word. So the whole thing, the website is showing you how to be a man again. Remember, bringing back the whole vibration. But if you're on Facebook and how you going, yeah, carry on. Oh, yeah, bring that precept.
The book of Ecclesiastes 18 and 27. A wise man will fear in everything.
The wise man will fear in everything. So that's you examining every situation that you're in. Like, if I lose it, what's going to happen? You know what I'm saying? And it's the same thing with this truth. You have to examine your walk in this truth, man. Like, if I go down this path, is it going to bring me closer to the Most High, or is it going to take me away from the Most High? Wise man, because at the end of the day, what are we fearing? The judgment of Yahweh Hashem,
In the day of sinning, you will be aware of his offense.
in the way of sinning. And that's someone who is trying to seek righteousness, because most people in the world, they'll just sin and don't feel no way about it, or they'll fall short. Like, if we fall short, it plays on our mind. Right?
That's right. That's right.
Fucked up here,
That's right. That's right.
Those in the world, they're not
In the day of sinning, you will be aware of his own offense.
those in the world ain't aware of where they go wrong, man.
But a fool will not observe time.
We will not observe time. And that time that we have to observe is the time that we're in, through the prophecies and all of that, yeah?
In the day of sinning,
Now the Bible says, in the day of sinning, meaning you will, because of this carnal flesh, you will sin. That's according to scripture. In the day of sinning,
you will be aware of his offense.
and that's the main point, to be aware that you have sinned. So you can change and repent.
Also in the day of sinning, meantime, temptation when it comes. Because everything's up to the phone. So when the thought of sinning comes, read out.
And in the day of sinning, you will be aware of his offense.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's about, like the brother say, looking at situation. And it's hard sometimes. Like, I do have a problem. I did have a problem where I was dealing with this sister. And that was the best thing I ever. I've never been able, even when I move on to the next thing, I've never seen someone that really give me that pleasure like that. So then when I think about her and I talk to her, I'm like, yo, man, how I prove it's hard. But I have to do it. I have to let go. I can't do that.
That's right.
Because, first of all, she's with someone. If she wasn't someone, then that's my wife in a way. I can deal with her. But she's with someone. You can't do that. That's what it means. You know what I'm saying?
It's like accident yesterday, and even today, the father said, you feel that, oh, you're doing enough. And that's part of that. A wise man show fear in everything.
That's right.
You have to challenge. You see, there is elite fighters and there's normal fighters. The elite fighters are always telling themselves, man, to go against the best. Like, what's his name? Mike Tyson. He always fought, and I believe he was pretty mean before he was Hercules. How do you call him? Hercules.
Yeah, exactly.
He even went to Hercules' tomb. He went to Hercules' tomb, He went and paid visit to the See, that's what I'm saying. That's mindset. So now when you compare yourself to someone that you try to get a soul, everything like God, when you go in a training, it's a different training. Ignorant man working on, that's what I'm saying. So we have no trouble to get to that point. It's hard. Listen, every beginning is different. Alright? Your precept. So let me bring that one, and then you bring yours. And then you finish with that one. Yeah?
Proverbs 24 verse 16. For a just man falls 7 times and rises up again.
That's what the brother said. When you're sinning, you know that you're going up and you get back up again. Those are the things that the brother read about being aware of his offense.
But the wicked shall fall
The fool don't consider anything that they do.
Why? Because the wicked doesn't have the thought of Yahweh, doesn't have the law of Yahweh in his soul all the time.
I'm going to bring this to let you just to them. Wisdom of Solomon, why the poor again? For into a malicious soul, wisdom shall not enter, nor dwell in the body that is subject unto sin.
That's right. Now we're going to bring yours.
Okay.
And then you want your more, yeah?
Ecclesiasticus 28 verse 8. Abstain from strife,
Abstain from strife.
and thou shalt diminish thy sins.
Right, so that's strife. You see, like, I will explain that if you allow me. Yeah? Go. See, energy. That's something I'm learning this truth, man. The Most High, when He separates you, it's for a reason. The Most High, the creator of all things. There's something that's called energy. Some people are born with certain energy. So when you come in this truth, you can't deal with certain people like you used to deal with the truth. Why? Because whether you like it or not, these people will allocate you a particular kind of spirit, a particular kind of energy. So when you hang around with these people, that's when the messing up happening, man. And that's strife, because what is strife? It's the inward battle. You see that battle that's going to go on, that battle, because it's a colliding of many spirits of different opinions, different mind and state of mind, different truth, good and bad, positive and negative. But that's because you've been around certain negative people. And let me tell you something. Somebody that has negative, somebody that is the kindness of all. I've seen in my family where the witch happened to be the kindness in my family. She was so big. She's wicked. Because that's why we have to be spiritual, man. The Bible is steady. He doesn't come. The Bible says, the devil manifests as an angel of light. He doesn't come with horns on. Alright? He comes like in white garment. Smile. Hugging you.
With that knife ready.
Sometimes the message of they see that you're not, and they come there with help.
That's
Man, listen. So read that part again.
Yeah.
Strife.
Ecclesiasticus 28 verse 8. Abstain from strife, and thou shalt diminish thy sins.
Right, so it's not about being upset or whatever. No, it's not about the energy. The more you stay from certain energies, the less you sin. Case in point, you can be with your woman, everything is fine. And she meet that one woman.
That's right.
She meet that one friend. And from that point on, when you look back, you will see that that's when everything started to fall apart.
There's Eddie Murphy, one of them things he did where he said, he got a woman from Africa, she's obedient, then she comes over to America and she's like, Eddie, what have you done for me lately?
Good point. Why? Because you know what? When she go to college to learn English, she be walking up to me, ciphering with these wicked Israelite women. And they say, don't worry, you can do everything, man. I got a friend that's good.
But you see, with them when they come over here with the dress, there's some things like dress code. They'll dress so modestly, then all of a sudden they come over here
and also the sex part. That's real. If a man, you have sex with a man, let's say you never met a man before you met him. His penis size, that's what you're used to. Now you follow your friend, they give you some King Kong destroying you, then you thinking, when you see that your man rod is not enough, then you start to complain. Who sent you there? Who sent you there? That's what the Bible was saying in Israel. Like when you meet a woman, that's your woman forever. So if you have one rod, you wouldn't be worried about the next rod side. You wouldn't get some kingdom that destroy your life, stigmatize you. DNA is all, seed is all over your then you're walking around like this, you're walking around. You say you be a rebel.
Yeah, but them seeds are spirits.
No, but that's real. That is real. When a man, that's what you women need to understand. And when you come in this truth, stop giving yourself to any man. The Bible says, Study a friend, prove a friend. A man come and say he loves you is the truth. Prove it and know that he's in the truth and he's about it before you open, because if it's a demon that's it coming you, then you don't want to be the truth, then you're rebelling. You know what I'm saying? So this truth is the school, man, for you women out there, man. But anyway, that was just a point. Yeah? Read that again.
This is Solomon 1:4. For into the malicious soul, wisdom shall not enter, right? Nor dwell in the body that is subject unto sin.
That's right.
And we should be mindful of that, because that's why we have to be spiritual in this battle. I mean, there is a lot of these kids that wanted to be a big carnal that got sold out. They came up with doctrine like, where did you get this doctrine from? Because you cannot follow, like you say, the vibration of, what was the blessing that was given to Esau? Carnality.
That's right. Like
Because the sword is carnal, man.
Yep.
And it was given to us spirituality.
That's right.
So now we are in prison, man, in Babylon. We cannot flourish in Babylon as men of the Lord. Well, that's why the Most High have to take us out of Babylon and go and put us in a new land that will have to be purified by fire.
That's
because
right
there, right here, or right now as we speak, they have day, whatever. So it's defiled. So you have to purify it for us to come and dwell. We have to dwell in a place, in the center of, that's the center of the earth.
That's right.
You have to dwell there for us to flourish back again, man. These land are full of evil portals, man. You woke up in the morning and you want to do wickedness. Why? Because there's portals right next to your yard where a demon comes in and comes out. And you don't even, sometimes you can walk and you step in the portal. You step in the energy.
You know, when sometimes you just get that shiver.
Exactly, that's
Back in the
energy.
day, you would say, oh, someone stepped over my grave.
Exactly. No, that's the problem I believe that the spirituality. That's why the women, they know they didn't forget their spirituality, man.
By the way, as you said that, that's also proof from regeneration.
Oh, yeah,
If you're living and you're saying something stepped over your grave.
But what he said, that's powerful, but he said as well, like, sometimes the deja vu happens when you step in a certain energy, and it brings you back. But there's very different portals. And you step in certain things, that's why when you go to certain land, when you go back home, you always feel strong again.
When your ears start ringing, you know, you're just sitting there, your ears start, that's the frequency passing.
That's right.
That's right.
Burning of incense.
You have to be
Mindful because depending on which way that smoke is going, you know, they say that if the smoke is going upwards, then the room is, the energy in the room is filled with it's dense in the room. If the smoke spreads itself out, then you know there's less energy in that room.
But what I can say about that, my dad was, he was telling me, be careful what incense. I knew incense when I was with my dad. Incense, you know, like when I say when you burning offering, right? The Most High will seek in the throne. They always say it was a sacrifice of sweet smell. Yeah. So he can smell it, and when he smell it, like, you know, your prayers are represented as like an incense, like an offering, like incense. And when he smells, like, oh, that was a brother, beautiful brother. He can smell of purity, smell of authority, sincerity. So it's the same from the spirit. That's why when you burn the weed, you bring certain spirit in your life, in your yard. All right? Yeah, straight fire. So when you burn frankincense now, you chase. So if you're like shaky, burn incense and frankincense, and you will see people at peace and strengthen because it's chasing with a bad spirit. Exactly. I was thinking about Toby when I was saying that. To heal, they have to get some fish. It's not witchcraft. Yeah. It's not witchcraft. It's just like certain elements combined, so they become smoke. They release certain energy. But we lost our spirituality, man. Christianity will never teach you that. Alright, Christianity will say, oh, you got demon on you, we need to pray to change. No! We know that demon, every time you got something happen to you, the Most High allowed it. Now you have to ask yourself, why did the Most High do that? Maybe because you going back to what? The purity. Why is that purity? Why is that water? The words. This truth, that's why the Bible says it's the truth that cleans you. Anyway, let's get back to finish it.
So this is the book of.
You want to bring up?
So like see, everything we say
Yeah, there's a little bit left
is
in it.
embedded in that. So sometimes we go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Ecclesiasticus 28 verse 8. Abstain from strife, and thou shalt diminish thy sins, for a furious man will kindle strife.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That word strength. And that word strength is or to fight, or discord, to battle or combat, conflicts, torment, distress, dispute.
And you don't need none of them things in your life, man.
Because the strife here, when you talk about arguing, because why I say that? If you read the part, it says, so it diminish your sin. So it's not about power, it's about the energy that create that distress, that battle of the mind, because there's so many spirits that in one body, and it's too much, so you're not at peace with yourself. So when you stay away from certain bad energy, you be not sinning. Some women you have to cut. Some women have bad energy in them. Some women that decide for you not to be spiritual. You always be carnal with certain women. You're always tired with certain women. Or some women, you know, I used to love a woman that make me hard every time I see her, but now I'm thinking twice now. Because that means you want to take my seat every time you're weak. I need my seat. You want to take it every time I see you with your feet. They shape a certain way, the way they bend down, the way they do certain things when you say that. Yeah, weak. Even on Sabbath, if you're not careful. And I always come and talk to you on Friday, sundown. Why don't you go on Tuesday? It's always on Friday. And you know that when you say you cannot resist them, man. Let's be honest. But sometimes they don't even know it. But they take it from their mom, it's a lot of things. So that's why when this sister comes in this truth, they have to be humble so we can teach them, man. So all you're gonna do is bring that energy. But don't you know that energy is draining me? It's sexual energy. Alright, so certain women, certain friends, you know, some friends they just have spirit where they have just the worldly spirit. Some friends you have conversation with them and you thinking about, wow, this true. I can pay a bit. I can go left and right. They're so good when they speak that. Some brothers are so good. When they say something in stage. Of course, yeah, you can see, man. Them leaders, them two-third leaders are very good. You have to stay away from them because this truth, this is narrow path. It's a narrow path, man. It's like you're eating some herbs that are not very good. I mean, they're not really seasoned, but you know that they will give you strength. I mean, you eat some nice food, they're very good. When you finish to eat, you're going to sleep. But some food, they're not very good. When you eat, you're very revitalized. You're ready. That's how we see this food, you know?
See, that's why it's a blessing to have a brotherhood, you know. Like-minded brothers. So we can break bread and feed on each other. You know, without that, like you say. You know what I'm saying?
Real brothers. Real brothers. Like, brother that don't really care, like, every time I have to eat. So that's the energy. Our people were like that back in time. So the most I think about that energy. The only time sometimes we offend it because so you use these two-faced society that we
Yeah, so this is the book of Proverbs chapter 3 and verse 7. And the reason why I'm sticking on it because there's a point to it. Be not wise in thine own eyes. Fear the Lord Yahweh and depart from evil. That's the point.
That's what we're talking about. Depart from evil. I was going to say now, like, how do you depart from evil? It's having those strategies in place. And we're not talking about everything when it comes. Fasting is the biggest thing. Because you see, fasting has many levels. People don't have, and I was saying to the brothers, when I was having a conversation with them, he already passed that mark where, he has seen, but not seen like on this one. Because he fasted once a week. Thinking about it is like, I've seen it struggle, that's the thing. And this is struggle not necessarily seen, but it could be like other things that, you know, other demons of my life. It could be family, it could be baby mother, it could be work, it could be society. This brother looked at R. Kelly, man. But you got already, bro. Yeah, you can eat other things. But he was like, you know what? Fast once a week, and that would change. And he said, I was doing that. He said, if I'm praying, I'm asking for something. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, hold on a minute. Actually, fasting will be before us because of the time we come in.
Get that body used to it.
Yeah, you got that, you got the spiritual side of it. And let me tell you something. Unfortunately, the problem, most side is moving the world more to certain problem that's happening. Because if you're dealing with sin, most of the time you also need salvation. Because you won't be able to fight it. And most of what give the spirit certain height to power. Because for him to this, you have to, the Bible says, I believe in, I don't know, Hebrew 4 or whatever it says, you know, it says, you cannot please the Most High.
11 and 6.
You cannot please the Most High. Yes, 11 and 6. You cannot please the Most High unless you walk.
Those are in the flesh cannot please God. Those are in the flesh cannot please God.
Right, something like that, right. There's a precept, roughly paraphrasing. So, certain thing will happen to you as you accept the spirit. And when you stay in fasting, what happens, like, your spiritual side takes over the carnal side. Then you can hear the Most High more. And when you read the Bible, you understand certain things. I'm telling you something the truth. He knows because he's the reader. First time you read one chapter, second time you come back and read the same chapter, something different. The third time, something different. What does it mean? It means that it's layers of understanding. But for you to get to that deep understanding, I can say, let's say for example, Isaiah 33:6, wisdom and knowledge of this capacity of that time. That's deep. It means that there's secret in this knowledge that can make you levitate, for example, that can make you cry for a moment when people try to come. Your spiritual life is in synchronous or is in sync with the scriptures, something will happen. Something will happen. I don't mean just like knowledge, but it's just knowledge of God. And I was saying the truth, it's the spirit, man. You get to certain point where certain things happen in your life because you allow certain spirit to come. Certain energy to come in your life. And this energy, when they come in your life, you are no longer the same person. The Most High is calling us dead. But don't think about environment. We know like other guys. We have to have a shower lead, disciplinary that come with it. It's very tiring, man. It's very, very tiring. Who does it like we do right now? The Bible says, who's gonna fight for me? You think you can just fight for the Most High that is a spiritual being in carnality, or being carnal, or being pleased in carnality? That can't work. So we come to the point where we wanted to wear fringes. We knew that we were Hebrew Israelite, happy to be Hebrew Israelite, happy to come on Saturday, or we come to the point where the pain is starting. You know, when you go to gym and then you got pain, you do some training, you got pain, that's whatever, how do you call it? Lactic acid, you don't have that spiritual lactic acid, time has come down, you have to force yourself on it. Because if you don't, you will start seeing things amongst us. The most of people are often strive among us, not seeing eye to eye where we argue to the point where, well, in the spirit, that happened right now. It's private life. Not going into details. Hey, the Most High do it. The Most High separate people because He knows where your heart is when you're on your own, nobody sees you. He knows if you sigh and cry, or you live like a nigga, when you come on Saturday, look, you can be sinning, but you're not happy with your sin. Sometimes it's hard to get rid of certain sin. But I think sometimes it takes years to get rid of one sin. Alright? Okay? Some sin are still here till now.
That's right.
Some sin that came in the life when we were 15, all the way till now, we still have it. So it's a battle out here. Yeah.
That's what if I put this bringing in 3 or 4 points the advantages of fasting.
Yes.
You know, like
Actually, to the spirit now, pull out Fasting.
I've got a precept
Pull
right
out
now.
fasting precept.
I've got one right now.
Let's get into it and we go.
I've got one right now.
That's what the Spirit wants.
The first one says promotes blood sugar control, reducing insulin resistance. This one it says fighting inflammation. It says may enhance heart health by improving your blood pressure and cholesterol levels. May boost brain function and neurodegenerative disorders. It increases growth hormone secretion. Could delay aging and extend longevity. May aid cancer prevention, increase effectiveness of chemotherapy.
So there's benefits to fasting on the physical as well as the spiritual. Let me just finish with this. This is Solomon 1 and 5. It says, for the Holy Spirit of discipline will flee deceit.
Discipline.
That's what I'm teaching you as well.
Because it's hard to fast. Because you don't, from sundown to next sundown, you don't eat no drink. And it's not easy.
I also want to say that fasting is very effective because certain times the tries to like having an argument with the tribe of Benjamin. And what happened was they fasted. Almost wiped out the city.
Yeah, they were.
Going back to what the Bible was saying,
This is Wisdom of Solomon 1 and 5. It says, for the Holy Spirit of discipline will flee deceit and remove from thoughts that are without understanding and will not abide when unrighteousness cometh.
Fasting is very good for us. So we will have to declare 1 week fasting. I know it's hard, brother. I know sometimes working, you need food. But that's good. You need food in that. It's very difficult to pull out the energy in that. But we're going to have to do it, my brother. If it's every Monday, every Tuesday, we're going to have to wholeheartedly do it, my brother. This is the time now for us to declare weekly fasting, man. This is because anyway, the fasting are coming on the 19th. Alright? So this week, before we go, it's Tuesday. Alright? Tuesday we have a Feast of Tabernacle. We'll meet on Tuesday. Who is coming on Tuesday? Coming, yeah? Alright, so what about us fasting on Monday?
I think Monday is good.
So we're talking about Monday, what? Monday sundown.
Sunday to Monday.
Okay, Sunday, Monday, sundown. Monday.
So I think like Sunday, Monday.
We're starting like that. We're starting like that because you will see the benefit. Some demons have no choice, no option but to leave you. You're more, anything you deal with, anything you fight by fasting. I need the most fast in my life. I need to fast. So I want to start with the fast. And let's see what the most has for us. I'm curious to see what the most has. Because sometimes we be talking about. Yeah, are we agreeing? Are we agreeing? Yeah. Is anybody that have issue with a medical issue or some brother have medical issue? Okay, yeah, I'm just. You don't have to tell me the medical issue, but I just want to know. We can talk about it.
Precept.
Yeah. Are you done? Are you done?
This is Psalm 69 and start at 9 and reads, for the zeal of thine house hath eaten me up, and reproaches of them that reproach thee are fallen unto me. When I wept and chastened my soul with fasting.
Read it again.
Psalms 69 verse 9. For the zeal of thine house hath eaten me up, and the
zeal of thy house has eaten. Who's talking?
It says, and the reproaches of them eaten me up, and the reproaches of them that reproach thee are fallen upon me.
Yeah, so he was dealing with some demon, man.
Verse 10, when I wept and chastened my soul with fasting.
That's a good point there. It says, chasten your soul with fasting. Subduing the flesh.
Like I said earlier,
Speaks about being spiritual.
I said that the reason why you fast because technically, it gives you that combat mentality as far as sin. Because when what's the in the military, say someone goes to the military 27
verse chapter 23 and 27. Also, on the 10th day of this 7th month, there shall be a day of atonement. It shall be an holy convocation unto you, and ye shall afflict your soul and offer an offering made by fire to the Lord.
You people so you got pain. So the only reason why you're not strong, I'm not strong in certain area of my life as far as sin, because I'm weak. I don't want to pull up, I don't want to pull up the resistance. But I really say something in my mind, and depending on what I eat this food, my flesh as well. It sets my flesh as well. So when I'm going through fasting now, when I die, the condition, I get the analogy of the boxer. When you go through, it's when they tie and they say, carry on, then boom, boom, because what happens is that once they condition your mind, if you find yourself in that situation, even when you're tired, you keep on going because the mind is conditioned. So it's the same with fasting. So technically it can be explained why it's good to fast. Yeah.
It's the book of Joel 2 and 12, and it reads, therefore also now, saith Yahweh, turn ye even to me with all your heart, and with fasting, and with weeping, and with mourning, and rend your heart and not your garment.
Yeah, so it's the heart, the circumcision of the heart, man. That's what it gets you. Fasting gets you to have the circumcised heart. Now it's good to be circumcised physically, but at the same time, you gotta be circumcised in your heart. And trust me, you can say, oh, I'm in the truth. You're not circumcised, because you come from Babylon, so you're not circumcised yet.
This week, all this week, I've been resisting. Remember we had that chat on the phone about eating too much. All week I've been resisting, and I've now been able to read more and stuff like that. So it's a fact. I tell you, it's a fact from personal experience that fasting, it puts something in you where you're able to do more. And not feel lethargic and stuff like that. So
it's not good to me. It's a sin.
Remember the foods that we eat today is the
So when you're heavy like that, your soul is not really fighting out. When you're empty, you're eating low, and you're fasting, then we help your soul now take control of yourself. Then you want to read more, then you want to pray, then you want to meditate. Then you're in a good state where you sleep and you have a vision. Sometimes the most I want to show you things, but because of certain sin, we're not able to dream the dreams that just but the most I speak to us through vision and dream. If you don't dream, it's an indicator that if you don't remember the dream. I remember when I'm ready spiritually, I don't remember my dream. But right now, I could be having 5 dreams and I'm remember only 1. That's not right. You got me, you know what I'm saying?
This is 1 Kings 21 and 27. And it came to pass, when Ahab heard those words, that he rent his clothes, and put sackcloth upon his flesh, and fasted and lay in sackcloth, and went softly. And the word of Yahweh came to Elijah the Tishbite, saying, Seest thou how Ahab humbled himself before me? Because he humbled himself before me, I will not bring the evil in his days, but in his son's days will I bring the evil upon his house.
So fasting allows you to be humble as well, man. You gotta be humble in society, man.
And the Most High can also bypass certain things which you may have had come in your way because you humble yourself.
Yeah, because when you humble yourself, what do? You pray. So what do you sing? Very sweet smelling scent, man. So when he's smelling it, we're like, yo, my little guy is doing work right now, man. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. And then he's like, you know what, I'm gonna take certain burden and down on it and down. Imagine if you make it your lifestyle. In this case, we're gonna make it our lifestyle. If I don't get everything is possible through the hour. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna do it, everything together. And we don't understand how, like, when we in unity, that itself is an energy. Yeah, come. What you do that?
With that unity, when you look at Jericho.
Yep.
That was unity. It was a vibration and energy.
Right, that broke down the...
Yeah.
That's what we need right now, that unity. But the most time we see us through, man. So Because these men have a life. Right. You know what I'm saying? So all those pussy that he has from us, just like I always say, if the son, if your son, he wants to take it, he's doing that. What did they do? Nothing like that. At least they're making a way for you to help them. So if you want the Most High to show you great things, you're gonna have to. You know what I'm saying?
So this is the book of Numbers, chapter 23 and verse 19. God, Yahweh, is not a man that he should lie.
Therefore, everything he says, we can rely on him. That's the key thing with this word, man. That's where your faith comes in, man. Knowing that you can rely on everything that the Most High says.
And that's why you read it.
That's what our faith lies on. You know, fair enough, we struggle here and there, but remember in Hebrews it said that you have to believe that he's a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. That's part of our faith, man.
And diligently seeking was angel God wants to say. So what if you say we're going to come to 15 and then show Harry?
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
That's a key part of the book. Harry, man. Yes, patience. Being diligent, saying, you know what, I know my. He's not gonna lie, man. Look, you know how I know that the Most High is real slavery. He said was gonna send us, he sent us. So listen, he ain't gonna do it. He's real.
Yeah. So this is the book of Numbers, chapter 23 and verse 19. God is not a man, Yahweh is not a man that he should lie. Neither the Son of Man that he should repent.
But who was that angel that was carrying us through the wilderness?
And the repentance, that's powerful to lead that. It means as well that he doesn't change, he ain't gonna save us. He said he was gonna save us and he's gonna change. He doesn't say, I'm gonna give it to more. No.
Or as Israel like to say, well, you were his chosen.
Yeah. Now, it's for everyone now. Like, it doesn't work like that because he doesn't change according to Malachi 3. So we have to trust a God like that. I would trust a God like that.
I would trust him. The reason you know that, and I've said this before, it might sound strange to people. I'm glad we had to went through what we went through.
That's right.
Because if he said, if you don't keep it, this is what's going to happen, and it happened, then I'll be a fool. That's one of the things, when I first came into this truth, and I watched the video, the brother broke down Deuteronomy 28, that's one of the things I said. I'll be a fool to believe that, but don't believe the other side of it. You know what I'm saying?
And also, and you're going to read the other piece of the also, we're going to love the Most High more. Think about this. When the Most High give us all the glory, we're going to cry every morning with what I'm saying. We're going to wake up every 6 o'clock, all you and send some powerful, loving word to the Most High. They're going to feel it. The whole universe going to feel our prayer every morning, man. Because he made us go through that, and then we're going to look how blessed we are. So you made us go through that. This is wanting us to see how it feels like to feel your pain, you know, and then now, you give us the blessing. That'll make you love a nigga like that, because he's a nigga, the Most High, he's the ultimate nigga. Like he gonna love you more, a God like that, because he like, wow, man, look, you got your wife, people feel that one wife will be, all you want to be one. No, your wife, one wife is a celebration. All you have to do is take the spatial chariot, and you're there over there, so your wife is there, you'll have to move in Jamaica, some island somewhere, big family, big yard. Look at that.
That's what you're saying, like, I mean, when you look at it, yeah, now, like rich people, now they don't kind of, like, should I say, they don't know what it's like to be poor, you know, in a sense. So they've always had it. So now, like, money and all that is nothing to them. Their gold is nothing to them. But see us when we're lowly or need people, we would know what it's like to be lowly. So we would appreciate when we get up there, we appreciate what it means to be up there.
That's Brandon said, easy come, easy go.
That's right.
You don't appreciate it. You just get it so, you just lose it so, you know what I'm saying?
And it's going to be eternal as well, so think about it. You know what I'm saying?
And it's the book of Romans, the 11th verse 1. I say then, have Yahweh cast away his people.
Right, never.
Yeah.
Laha.
That goes
God
to
forbid.
he doesn't change and Yahweh Shai won't repent.
Yes.
That's what that's
read that
written.
bit there.
No, he doesn't want to know that bit.
No, you don't want to read it.
He wants to write himself into the covenant.
Question mark.
Yeah, that's right.
Yahweh forbids. But I also am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin.
That's right. Alright, so y'all want to forget about it. It's just like you put us in that little trick, man. For us to see what it is to go through, to be wicked, being sick, be devilish, be your own brother. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's it, man.
Yeah, you don't want to hear me? Well, you
Yeah,
take
you gonna
this.
feel it, you gonna feel it.
Most half a shot of time is perfect. You know, all of us brothers are going to find out yesterday. I was trying to be perfect. He's given, he said, look, time for their faith to increase.
Because when we see this shit, we increasing now.
It's actually mercy he's showing us. Because he wants every single one of the elect to come into the fold.
Because you know, you look at it like this. If he was going to come tomorrow, do we feel spiritually, are we ready? You know, that's what we have to do.
I do think about that. Sometimes I'm like, yo, let's say if you hear now.
That's what I'm saying.
But I had a dream about that, and I wasn't happy. I was like, oh, he's coming, and I'm happy. I was fearing. But I was sort of like,
Because I know I ain't ready.
I was shook. So that I don't know what it means. Yeah.
Did a U-turn down to that road. There's a gate there. Stopping people, a yellow gate.
Yeah.
That's when
It's
they
coming.
take the next turn, you know where we're normally walking. But then you got them poles that they used to set for the cycling. Some big ones taking up enough of the road, and then these little intersections where there was camera. All that came to my mind was checkpoint. Then when I went to
Garrison.
I couldn't turn. Like you could only enter. Like they were actually funneling. That's how it was, man.
But that's what they're doing right now with the roads. That's his
Even in a situation where you actually have a back against the wall like that. Some of us, I'm telling you the truth, where you have to, we have to see the most are delivering us in such situation where you can't go nowhere. And the only way to see the most side is through spiritual power. That's what's going to happen. Yeah, divine intervention. But that's what it is. So what he showed you that it's going to be tricky out there. Well, I'm going to show my power.
It wasn't in, but in the dream I could tell that car. That's what came to my mind in the dream. I was just like, I thought, martial law, them little places I said checkpoints, and they were just funneling. Like, weren't fully.
What's going to happen is that, yeah, but they're going to take you out of the car and they're going to take you out. So now, what is the most likely going to happen? Because you're expecting angel to come and something happen. What's going to happen is you go to that jail, you're expecting to say they may come on the road, but they will come to jail, they're not coming. When I think you're going to guillotine them, I know that now that the guillotine, I saw the guillotine, they're going to come, they're not coming. They're not coming. What you going to do at that time? And the guillotine is coming down, they're still not coming. What you going to do?
Ladies free, ready to drop.
That's why it's the
I'm telling you just before on that. Brothers do. Listen, brother gone. See what happened to Peter? What happened to Peter? People think it's far-fetched. We're gonna feel it.
You see that now, that's also a case of Isaiah 57:1, but both sides, like it says a time like never before. So really and truly, sometimes you've been put to death. The Most High sparing you from shit to come. You know what I'm saying?
That's my point. My point is this. What about those people that the martyrs?
Those that will see the destruction.
And it says that will hurt Eddie.
Right. So that's what sometimes some of us, there's nobody thinking that it's our case. We say agent now, our case. Agent will come and befriend you. say it's sweet and terrible.
You said that we can stand here. We can say, yeah, you know what, I'll go with it. Will you go with it when it actually happens?
Listen, so let go of this thinking of the car because they have some diarrhea. Now, you know diarrhea fast, you know what I mean? Stinking of the wet fart. And wet fart, man.
This is real now.
They'll sit down. Why do I say that? It's for a positive. What do you want to say after 19? They're going to sit 12 judges. So that's what's high.
Going back to what you were saying now,
Right, so you're going to be like, oh, welcome, so, you know,
115, 116 and 15.
Book of Psalm, it's a Psalm 116 and 15. And it reads, precious in the sight of Yahweh is the death of his saints.
Why is that? Because you L tied to the end, man. What's not? 116. Yeah, so read out the book,
Psalms 116, 15. It reads, precious in the sight of Yahweh is the death of his saints.
Yeah, because you L fast to the end. That's what he wants to see. Like, a good example is the 7 brothers and their mother, man. Right. You know, imagine you're the last one out the brothers. You see one get burned, one get this and that, and then come up to you, and you're still only part of the street, man. Right. Most times, like, some of it broke, broke one. But this is a comforting way to look at things. No one.
this is the book of Job, chapter 1, verse 8.
Now,
And Yahweh said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job?
So imagine this now. You're in that position there where you're facing death. You know, and the Most High is saying to Satan, have you seen my servant Yazapal, Nakama, Rabban, Yani Allah, Yasharallah, me, Mashak, Malaka, Malakia, Salakia. Have you seen my servant?
And there is none like you.
They don't like none of these brothers here, man.
Let me take you higher.
When that fear of the Most High, so even unto the death, they're going to be staying true to truthful, man.
And eschews evil.
In that, when you put it to the
This is the book of Job, chapter 1, verse 8. And Yahweh said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job? That there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man.
Now you hear that? He was a perfect and upright man. So this is just really for you Christians who say you can't be perfect in the truth. According to the scriptures you can.
That's right.
So that's what they say. No one, yeah, you see?
I just wanted to touch on what you said about how perfect, how shall I say being perfect.
Exactly. So he will command you to do something that was impossible.
When you say perfect, doesn't mean that you're going to think all the
That's what they missed the point.
the Most High. Thinking in the Most High because the Most High eyes, you're perfect.
King David.
That's right. That's the spirit.
Like you said, also to read Isaiah, I want to make the point, yeah, whatever you say.
Yeah.
King David, he was still said how his mind was perfect.
Isaiah 6 and
What I want to do is that he says, that's what it is.
So Job, chapter 1, verse 8. And Yahweh said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job?
It says, as thou consider my life. This scripture here should be your comfort in that time when you came through certain situations. Look, it's the Most High testing you, man. Yeah? That's why the scripture says, be faithful unto the death. Yeah? Have you seen my servant Job? Like, you're in that situation, like the brother said about the guillotine, your neck's under the thing, and Yahweh's chatting to freaking Satan, and Satan said, yeah boy, look, once his head licked that block and it closed, he's going to say, no, he's going to renounce you. But Yahweh saying, you know what? Have you seen my servant? Well, what happens with that?
Yeah, it's like a perfect and an upright man, one that fears Yahweh and is true.
So it's a case of the Most High putting us through certain situations and go say, look, these brothers here, these sisters, they're going to stay faithful to me.
And also, I believe that you're not going to feel the pain. The spirit will already be done. You know, by the time they get to the point where it touches your neck, yeah.
Like you say, look back to Stephen. When they stoned him, his mind was already gone. He saw the heavens open.
And that's exactly what was the fight. When you have to die spiritually, you will experience the glory of the Lord. Yahweh is beautiful. Yeah, exactly. Yahweh, not say Yahweh beautiful. Stephen was then being mugged, but when he was being mugged in soul, his body left his spirit left his body, and he was seeing the glory of the Most High while his being was being killed. So all the prophets are going to get killed. The sister that will get, because he going to warn his sister.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Now I'm praying for the Most High that he bring me that woman.
Yeah, I want
the faithful girl. You know, how you say the
like warrior. In the spirit.
You know, that's what it's about me and my girlfriend.
Yeah, that's right.
See, the women talk a lot of women we put together because they ain't gonna let.
Right.
They will say, I'm going with my husband, man.
Look for me.
You know what I'm saying? They'll say, kill me and my husband, man.
That's right.
I'm not going nowhere. So to those ones, trust me, Most High will give you that strength to die.
You know what? That's what you just said. This happened to a very close friend. Like the husband and wife. The husband died, and you know about a week later, the wife died in Ireland.
Yeah, a lot of them in the Caribbean. That's
She died behind that.
That's when the soul connecting. That's what the soul connecting.
To his parents.
That's the situation, man.
because their souls are tired.
Yeah, it's all the time, man. So you want a woman that has that thing where when she meets you, rather than, you know what I'm saying, rather than, yeah, let's carry on, man. Let's carry on. I see us. You know what I'm talking about. About being perfect.
Yeah.
I want to show what the Most High mean by that.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 6 and verse 5. Then said I, woe is me, for I am undone, because I am a man of unclean
And
lips.
by the way, undone, see when you see that undone, Esau is undone, man.
Right.
That's why it was born, and it looks like chicken. When you go to the shop, when you get chicken, you have to barbecue it.
That's
when
right.
it's done. And it looks just like chicken, so it's undone.
Yeah, caramelize
Through the
it. Just put some color on
That's
it.
right. Bro, yeah, my brother. Yeah.
Start from the top, chapter
Yeah.
verse 5. Then said I, woe is me, for I am undone, because I am a man of unclean lips,
So listen to read it.
and I dwell in the midst of a people of unclean lips.
So Isaiah says in the spirit, yo, I'm a weak guy, man. I'm a weak, but watch what's gonna happen, man. Watch what the Most High will do. Carry on.
For mine eyes have seen the King, Yahweh of hosts.
Right. So even though he was unclean, he was in the presence of the Most High. Then look, see, carry on and see what the Most High did.
Verse 6. Then flew one of the seraphims unto me,
Right?
having a live coal in his hand,
Right.
which had taken with the tongs from off the altar.
Right.
Verse 7. And he laid it upon my mouth,
Right.
and said, Lo, this hath touched my lips,
Right.
and thine iniquity is taken away,
Come on.
and thy sin purged.
And that's one part that explains to you that in order for you to be purified as an elect, you have to go to the test. Yeah? Fire. Purging. Fire. But in that case, the Most High, he declared him for that ritual. Righteous. Perfect. Therefore, you know, but say, all your sin are purged in the eye. So that's the elect. We might go off But to be honest with you, the Most I see us as if we're perfect, man. Not because